So first thing, let's look at, okay, so our eighth graders to sixth graders is 5 to 3. And we have eighth graders to seventh graders is 8 to 5. So we want to, in order to like have a common way of comparing this, we want to get the eighth graders to the same ground. And so for that, we're going to do a multiplication, which is we're going to multiply this by 5 and that by 5 and this by 8 and this by 8. So if we get it, we get this is 40 to 24 and this is 40 to 25. So now we have our 8th to 6th to 7th. We can combine them because they're both, 8th are both 40. So it's 40 to 24 to 25. Now asking for the smallest number of students that could be participating in the project. And the best option is, if we have, I'm going to set up the same thing as last time. So if we had 40 to 24 to 25 is proportional to A to B to C. And we have A over 40 is equal to B over 24 is equal to C over 25 and is equal to K. So that means we're looking for A plus B plus C, the smallest value. Okay, so A is equal to 40K, B is equal to 24K, and C is equal to 25K. So summing them up would be A plus B plus C, which is equal to 89K. The least amount would be if K is equal to 1, so then that would be 89. That's our answer. Okay, now let's go into something called percentage. Percentage is a kind of ratio, and like where the denominator is 100, so it's like a special case of ratios. Often shows up in like scores, and when you get 90% on a test, you get a certain amount of points. So percent as decimals. So when you have like n%, it means n over 100. So when you get a 90% on your test, for example, you get a 90 out of 100. Basically. So like 25% would be 25 out of 100, but you can also write that as a decimal, which is 0.25. And 0.1%, for example, don't confuse that. This is not equal to 0.1. This is equal to 0.001. And in fact, that's also equal to 0.1 over 100, which is equal to 1 over 1,000. And for example, 175% is 1.75 something. Value change. So if there is quantity n and there's a p% increase. A p% increase, all it means is that the new value is n, the increased value, like the amount it increased, is n times p over 100. And then if it decreased, then it's negative n times negative p over 100. That's it. So if there's a 20% decrease in 50 gallons of water, then it's decreased. So remember, you have to put the negative sign. And it's like 50 is n here, and p is equal to 20. So when you get it, it's 10 gallons decrease. Remember, either you put negative 10 or you put 10 gallons decreased. Percent change. Percent change is, when you have something, you have the new value, you have the old value, and they're asking for how much percent did it change. So what you do is you subtract, this is the formula, you do the new number minus the old number divided by the old number and multiply that by 100, and that's your percent. So if the basketball score went from 10 to 15, then it means 15 minus 10 over 10, which is 0.5. So that's a 50% increase. Tesla stock, for example, went from $1,000 to $850. So you do 850 minus 1,000 divided by 1,000. So that's a 15% decrease. So the new value, based on if you're given a percentage P, then how do you find the new value? Well, you do, well, if you think about it, all you're doing is n old plus n old times P over 100, right? If you're increasing, because based on value change, so you just basically take the n old out, and it's 1 plus P over 100, and that's equal to nu. And you, for decreasing, you just do a minus sign. So now let's work on an example. Gilda has a bag of marbles. She gives 20% of them to her friend Pedro. Then Gilda gives 10% of what's left to another friend, Ebony. Finally, Gilda gives 25% of what is now left in the bag to her brother Jimmy. What percentage of her original bag of marbles does Gilda have left for herself? So I'll give you some time to work on this, and then we can solve it together.